We're going to have a bit of a take two, see what happens. All right, let's see what happens. Take two. Maybe it means it will be a bit easier. I will be able to carry my laptop around the studio without worrying that my little extra webcam is going to fall out. So who knows? Welcome, welcome. This evening, we're going to look at some common roller dance vocabulary moves, which is what I like to call common roller dance moves. And we're going to see the issues that people normally have. So I'm going to break down those roller dance movements and then let you know what I often see people do, why they find this so challenging, maybe what your brain and your body are doing and how you can overcome these. I'm also going to show you some drills so that you've got lots and lots of takeaways that you can go and start actioning immediately and build your confidence on roller skates. And if this is something that you enjoy and my style resonates with you, then please do go and check out my online course that has got at least 18 months worth of roller dance, grooves, drills, choreography, an introduction to outdoor roller skating, and so much more. There is so much content in there, and you can get this for 50% off, £75 instead of 150. And that might seem like a lot to you, but when I say it's like 18 months worth of information, if you were to come to every session individually, you'd be spending like £500 or £600 easily. And even if you had a skate pass, it would still cost you a lot more. So use the code roll hyphen, wait, need to look up my own code. Ideal. No, that's not where we're going to look it up. I feel like I've put it in a couple of videos recently. So let me actually check. In my shorts. Okay. Roll hyphen light. It's going to require some editing. Okay, I wasn't necessarily going to say that there, but there we go. It's out there now. Roll hyphen light, L-I-T-E. And that is at the checkout, and the course is my Level Up and Find Your Flow course. Okay, let's move you. So we're going to go this way very slightly so that I have got my whiteboard next to me and I actually know what's going on. Right, we also need to have our pen and our tunes so that we can put some music on when we need it. Let's put you over there. Okay, so Level 2, roller dance vocabulary. So in my structure of how we break down our skills, Level 1 is where people start when they either have zero experience and they're basically learning how to stand up. Maybe they're coming back to roller skating following an injury. They're super anxious. It's just been decades. You're not feeling very confident. And so we teach you how to fall safely, how to push and glide, how to do your lemons, start to control your speed. A couple of ways of stopping, maybe a plow stop, get a T-stop in there, and we'll just start to do those things. I would say Level 2 is much more foundation skills, like crossovers would come into Level 2. We might show you how to skate backwards with a little bit more confidence. We might have got you started in Level 1, but a bit more confidence in Level 2, how to turn around. And then we can start with a little bit more kind of exciting things, because you will have some feeling of balance. You'll understand, right, this is how I balance. So I understand that I can now do these different things. And some of that is to do with our shoulder position relative to our hips. And I do talk about this quite a lot in other videos. And if you are more at that Level 1 part of your roller skate journey, I've got a whole separate video on how to get started and build your confidence, because particularly when we're adults, I think we've got this memory of, oh, when I was a child, it was so easy. When I was a child, this was all possible to do. And then now suddenly as an adult, well, one, I'm taller. Two, I've got a lot more responsibilities. And three, aren't they a lot more rolly than I remember them? So maybe our skates as a child were not the best quality and they weren't the most rolly, but now we've got different resources as an adult. And that means our experience back on roller skates is going to be different. So we need to take a different approach. And we know a lot of our adults in our adult sessions are very much focused on, okay, I need to know all of the possible scenarios before I can possibly try anything. And if I know it all in my head, then my body will just know what to do. I wish that was the case, and sadly, it is not. So let's chat specifically roller dance. So when we have a little bit more balance, I'm trying to have my shoulder above my hip and above my heels. I'm just going to go to here. Oh, we're still not in. Okay, let's alter our camera. Okay, there we go. So we've got shoulder above hip above heels. Now, when we are level one, when we're learning, we might find that we actually are more here or even here, where our shoulder is really in front of our hip. Yeah. If we have our shoulders behind our hips when we're level one, we are absolutely falling backwards. And even if we have our shoulders above our hips, it just takes that tiny parachute reflex to pull us back. So really, we can't start doing things that involve being more upright and being more relaxed until we've already got a little bit more confidence on our skates. Right, I hope that makes sense. I'm just going to move this down a bit more. This is the weird thing with like a landscape thing. Nice that my fire alarm is going to basically look like a little tiny hat for this whole video, but we'll see. So in this video, I'm going to talk about cross step. We're going to talk about toe shuffles and dribbles. We will do the downtown, and maybe we'll touch on the C step. And if you've got something and you happen to be on this live and you think, ooh, I'm struggling with this roller dancing, pop it in the comments and I will do my best to have a chat with that, assuming that the battery is going to last, that the internet's not going to drop, and the microphone is going to be fine. Because let's be honest, live video is not always my friend. So yeah, I think we're okay for now. I trust that you'll tell me if like you can't hear or anything. Okay, so the cross step is normally where I would start with our roller dance, and cross step being this motion, okay? Cross, step out, bring your foot back to forwards. Cross, step out, bring your foot. So you're always in this kind of ready position. Now, when I'm crossing, I'm going to start by leaning so that all my body weight is above this toe, okay? I'm obviously not ever allowed to look down because it's roller skating and we can't look down. As I am transferring my weight here, that means I've got no weight on the other leg. I'm going to try and lead with my heel at a diagonal and bend into it to transfer my weight. So at this point where my feet are kind of across from each other, my center line is where my toes are pointing. So my toes are trying to point to the center line of my body. It's very awkward position to hold, so you're not going to hold it like this. And then I'm going to step out and turn my toe to the front. Now, actually, when I support our level 2 skaters and they have never, ever done this before, I am going to strongly recommend you get yourself a mat or some carpet to stand on. In fact, I'm going to do that now. So, if you are a follower of my channel, you know that I'm a big fan of a yoga mat because you can stand on this and wobble around on one foot and you will not roll. And actually, when we're putting ourselves into different positions where we feel really vulnerable, then I think that's actually an important thing. So, what's this message that's coming through? Okay. Live streaming on YouTube, right? So on this mat, I know that I can stand. Crossing our toes, anytime that we cross our toes and cross our legs and our legs are touching, you as a level 2 skater will have just come from this. You might be pushing out to the side and you're like, yes, this is fine. You might be going backwards, all fine. Plow stop, fine. Maybe you've even tried a T-stop, okay. None of those positions involves crossing your legs. The minute you cross your legs, we're asking our body to do something completely different again. So when we first start, especially if we're adults and we're over 40, we're thinking, my body's going, what is this nonsense that you are asking of me? What is this? Eventually, you calm down, you can regulate, and you're like, yeah, okay, it's fine. And your body goes, okay, I can trust this. This is fine. I understand these positions that you're trying to put us in. Our legs aren't touching. We know how to bend our knees. We know how to capture ourselves if we're feeling wobbly. Fine. But then you do this. You're like, oh, I'm going to learn how to cross over. I'm going to learn how to go around corners crossing over. And your body's like thrown back into dysregulation because this feels like you're going to trip yourself up. Anytime that you're putting one leg over each other, your legs are now touching, and just that feeling of your legs touching means that you can't instantly do this. So it feels very much like you are going to trip yourself up and fall over. And that's what your body believes. It's trying to save you from certain death. And therefore, you have the fight or flight fear response again, and you will continue in this cycle unless you understand how to break it. So doing things like standing on a mat is, in my opinion, so incredibly important because it means you can test out your body weight in different foot crossing positions without any fear. And if you don't have the fear of falling over, you will actually relax. And if you are relaxed, guess what? You can bend your knees. Hurrah! So you're going to cross over and step out and bring that toe in. So we've always got one foot straight and one foot at an angle. Step out, correct. Yeah? So step, cross, out, correct. The cross in the middle, I always feel like feels a bit like an old-fashioned curtsy. Curtsy. Okay, and the reason that we angle our toe is actually to create space. If you bend your knees will be facing away from each other. If you try and do this with a straight leg, your knees will be stacked on top of each other, right? If you've got a straight leg, your knees are pointing forward, and so they will be stacked on top of each other, and it's much harder to do. So angle your foot so that when you drop your weight onto that other foot, you've actually got space to move, okay? So when we are practicing this, let's shove that out of the way for a minute. We might need it back soon. We'll see. When we're practicing this, we're going to practice a pattern, step, cross, step together. And to start with, my level 2 babies are going to angle our heels, and we're actually not going to cross. We're just going to get the pattern so we understand the motion of angling our feet and then bringing our feet back to straight. So when I'm going, I don't know what direction I am on your screen, but I'm going to my right. I'm going to angle my right foot pointing out. So I'm going step, together, step, together. So I'm stepping at an angle and then both feet straight. So no crossing yet. Step, together, step, together. You may also find that you roll backwards a little bit, so do allow for that within your space. Step, together, step, together. Notice a little bounce every time. Step, together, 5, 6, 7, 8, and step, and step, and 5, 6, 7, 8, and step. and step, and 5, 6. You get the idea. So this time we're going to try for a cross, and 5, 6, 7, 8. We step, cross, step together, 5, 6, 7, 8. Step, cross, step together, 6, 7, 8. Step, cross, step together, 5, 6, 7, 8. Step, cross, step together, 2 in a row. We go, step, cross, step together, step, cross, step together, 5, 6, 7, 8. And step, cross, step together, step, cross, step together. Right, you've got the idea. Nice. Okay, if we're feeling this seems like a stable connection for now, do me a favor, go and share this live stream somewhere in a group and see if you can encourage a friend to join. Okay, so that is our cross step, and I call that a cross travel because we are slightly rolling across the floor, and it should feel comfortable in your body. It does take a lot of hours to drill and be comfortable. And when I say a lot of hours, I think I drilled this. This is small space friendly, so it's great for this time of year. If you've got a little bit of room in your kitchen or wherever you have room to skate, you don't need a studio, you don't need a sports hall to practice a lot of roller dance moves. And when I lived by myself, when I was a single parent, I lived in a little flat, and I actually had a good enough size kitchen that if I moved the table out of the way and my son was in bed, then I had a little space that I could practice in with a laminate floor, actually very similar to this kind of floor. So I did spend hours and hours and hours there. I definitely had softer wheels because these are a little bit noisy on this floor, and the softer wheels are not as noisy. So another key principle in roller dance, try to put your wheels down as quietly as you can so you're not clattering, because it will give your quality of movement a softer feel, and it will force you to bend your knees in a way that nothing else that I've found has particularly worked. So you'll be like, I'm bending my knees, I'm bending my knees. Oh no, I'm trying to put my foot down quietly, and it will just force you to move in a slightly different way. So if we do the same thing, but we're going to do it a little bit faster, and 5, 6, 2, off we go. Step together, back we go again, and 5, 6, 7, 8. Step, cross, step together, step, cross, step together. Notice my arms are up, and 5. I don't know what I'm counting. Step together, 5, 6, 7, 8. Step, cross, step together, step, cross, step together, 5, 6, 7, 8. Step, cross, step together, step, cross, step together. Okay, so you get the idea. If you need me to show you from the other position, like the other way from my hip and my heel, you just need to comment something and I will turn around and show you as if you were following along in class. Obviously, my concern is that I will just go out of the room, but I feel like I've got a fairly good idea of our working space today. So once you have got your cross travel, which is actually, I think, easier than just doing a cross step on its own, because you are adding the cross and you've got more counts to do it in, whereas this is one cross in every 2 steps. But just think that curtsy and up, correct. Curtsy up, correct. It is important to reset that toe in the middle every time. Okay. Curtsy out, correct. So then if you're trying to do this in time with music, you get to decide on the speed as everything. And I like to batch this when we are first learning this with our level 2 folks. And I've got a level 2 in real life course that is going to introduce all of these steps. It's not starting until March and it's on Tuesdays. But yeah, it's an in real life one. If you think you want me to do something similar online, let me know. And if that's something that we've got interest in, then maybe that's something we can do. So the Cross step, I'm going to batch 4 cross steps. Maybe I would do 2 first, but I'm aware we have limited time this evening based on battery life. So we're going to go for 4. So we're going 5, 6, 7, 8. Cross, out, correct, and cross, out, correct, and cross, out, correct, and cross, out, correct. So then we'll get to the point where we're doing our cross and the correct will be without an additional count. So it'll be cross, out, cross, out, cross, out, and cross, out, and, okay? So that the correction becomes less, you don't have to think about it as much. And ultimately, for all of these vocabulary moves, that is what we want. We want them to sit within your muscles. It's what we call muscle memory, where you're not having to think about these positions, but it does require so much thought in the beginning. Okay, with the cross step, there are many, many different forms, variations, ways that you can do this. And I spent 5 weeks, I think we did 10 hours when we very first started roller dance sessions here at the Skate Sanctuary, doing the massive, most deep of dives into all the different possible ways that you could cross step. So you can cross step as much as you can on the spot, although commonly people will move backwards because it's a backwards move. Okay. Then you can do the same move, but trying to come forwards. Okay. This is foot placement, by the way. If you're trying to go forwards, you're going to put your foot more in front of you rather than if you're going backwards, it ends up rolling across and it's here. So it's minuscule placement, but it makes such a difference. So when it's going, you're trying to go forwards, you're going to step in front and leave a gap. Now, because I've drilled this so much, I know within my body, my wheels, my skates, where I need to place my weight. But again, give yourself a lot of grace and allow yourself to do what you need to do. Eventually, I want people to get to the point where they can do a continuous cross step, which is also known as a strut walk. Okay. And this is on a lot of people's goals. I would say this move is more level 3 than level 2. However, let's have a go anyway, because it's quite a satisfying one to do. So I'm going to grab my mat because we need to do a drill before we can do the strut walk. Okay. And I wouldn't necessarily break things down in this much detail if I'm teaching a level 3 or a level 4 class, but in level 2, because we've not required this level of balance before, I am going to give you quite a lot of detail because I really think the details matter. Okay, so with our strut walk, we already need to be able to balance on one foot, no problem. We need to be able to cross, no problem, and step out, no problem. Okay, but we have, I will call it a dance mat drill, where we are practicing all the different qualities of movement in a drill pattern. So the pattern is forwards, backwards, side, front cross, back cross, which is annoyingly 10 counts, not 8. So it doesn't fit nicely to music, but you just have to get over it. Then we do a number of those qualities. The first one is tap, where you are not transferring your weight out of the center of the dance mat. Tap, tap across, tap behind, tap behind. The second one is step. So we're going to step and we are transferring our weight. Now, if you transfer your weight on a straight foot, you're going to roll forwards. And we do not want that, because in this particular case, we want to be able to come back. So understanding that we can angle our foot in order to bring ourselves and control where our weight goes. Cross, in, behind, cross, behind, cross. Okay, so we need those two. There are more. we do not need to go into right now. Then we lift the dance mat to our knees, and we also need one where the energy is coming out of the bottom of our heel, and we're doing a push. So our foot is not connecting with the floor for this. We're going push and in, push and in, push, but keep your toe quite flexed. Push and in, push to the side and push, push across. Can you hopefully now start to connect the dots of how this and our strut walk goes? And push. Okay, and again, there are loads more, but we just need to focus on those three. So with our strut walk, we are going to balance. We've got the push before we put our foot down and we step on it, and then we can balance and tap out. So we've got those three movements when we very first break it down. And then our foot is on the other leg. So we're going push, step, and tap to regain balance. Push, step, and tap. So if you have not drilled your feet going across at that diagonal angle, this is going to be much harder. Okay, so when we start our strut walk, we're actually going to end up with our toes always at a diagonal because you won't have the opportunity to correct. So we're going cross and tap, cross and tap, cross and tap, cross and tap. And this is also supposed to be done while you're rolling backwards, okay? Which is why you really need to nail that cross with a step out first. When you've got, right, that's fine, I can do the tap with my toe on the floor, so I've got that extra balance if I need it, then you are going to tap the air. Cross, tap, cross, tap, cross, tap, cross, tap. This is actually really hard to do on a mat, but I hope you can see I'm leading with the heel, cross, tap, cross, tap. And then once you've got that balance point, you're then just bringing your toe around. So you will have worked on all the different balance points, but you're just trying to keep it as smooth as possible. And then stylistically, it's kind of up to you where you want to place your foot. Okay, so you don't need to go anywhere near as far out, but it is very much a confident move. You're selling confidence with a strut walk. What I do like to do is have the opposite arm in front so that you've got this counterbalance across your body. I just also think it makes a really nice looking line. But if you raise your hand so it's at shoulder height, it will also lift your chest and your shoulders, and you'll appear confident whether you are or not. And I do think this is one of the tricky things to do, because if you're out somewhere public at a roller rink or wherever it is you're skating in public, and obviously everyone that is going mostly forwards, this is a backward skate move. So if you're here doing your like strut walk, staring, you're essentially kind of looking at people who are coming towards you, and you're like just jiving in your own sweet way. Yeah, certainly selling my confidence. And it can feel a bit weird. And I completely understand that as someone who is quite introverted. No matter how you see me show up on the internet, I'm currently in a space totally on my own, essentially talking to the two people that have tuned in, and I appreciate you both, believe me, but I don't really feel comfortable eye-gazing people that I don't know well. I don't think anybody does. Yet you somehow have to find a spot on the wall but in behind them that you can look at. So just to recap all of those things in motion, we're going step and tap, step and tap. I know there's a wall behind me. Step and tap. Maybe I'm going to angle you slightly this way, and we'll go this way. Okay, that should be good. Step and step and tap, step and tap. So when you've got that, we're going to step and kick the air. We'll step and kick nothing. Step, kick, step, kick, step, kick, step, kick. And then we're trying to add an opposite shoulder. And when this is not a one night practice thing. Step, step, boom, boom. Now, because I am who I am, I really like people to practice these drills so that you can walk forwards when you choose to, doing the exact same motion, and it is more steppy going forwards. And then when you decide you can roll backwards again, you can roll backwards again until you bend your knees and you stop. And then you can step it forwards again. Okay, and all of this I'm doing with the same motion. The difference is where I'm placing my weight and that slight change of the angle in my heel. Very slight change. So eventually, that's like the level of control that I would love people to have. At the same time, I recognize it takes a lot of work and that I'm that person that just wants to go so deep within a move and really understand it to its completeness so that I understand it inside and out and I am fully in control. I will also make sure that I can kind of do it sideways in some way, right? Just why not? Why not? Whatever you can create, you can totally create. Okay, let's pause there. We'll have a quick drink and then we will come back and we'll do toe shuffles, also called dribbles. I don't know why I've got such an aversion to the word dribbles, but I really do. Okay, you don't need to listen to me drinking water. So, toe shuffles. Okay, we're back in business. Where's my pen? Here it is. Okay, on my whiteboard. So we have covered the cross step. We've got toe shuffles. And then we're going to might do some C step, we'll see. Toe shuffles is into crazy legs. I think I said something else, but I can't remember what I said. We'll see. If it comes back, it comes back. If it doesn't, it doesn't. We said the downtown, didn't we? Okay. So hopefully with your cross step, you can identify the part that you might have found really difficult and why it was particularly hard for you. So let's apply some of those things now to our toe shuffles. Okay, toe shuffles and or dribbles, depending on who you follow and what you consume, is this motion. It is significantly easier with no toe stops. However, if you have a toe stop, you can still do this. You will just lift your heel only a very tiny amount. It is a push, not a pull. So a toe shuffle is this motion that kind of looks like someone's walking, but not like when you're a beginner, absolute beginner on skates, and you see people doing this. Okay, when they are just, you can see the panic on their face and they're trying to move. Someone who is doing a toe shuffle deliberately, I hope, looks more relaxed. But also, if you're a level 2 skater that's kind of building up, this is how it feels, you've probably got a pretty solid concentration face, because I know people who come to roller dance class they're like, it's like we're doing Irish dancing with your arms by your sides. We're not doing that. Your arms need to have a little bit of flow. Who was it? 7-Up commercial. I want to say Fido Dido. Is that right? Anyway, so we're kind of slow motion walking, and the slower you can go, the better it is. But this motion, and I know because I've seen it a few times very recently, again, we need to have our feet actually quite close together. Okay, they really are quite close together, not touching. And so this position if you have less experience, your body is not going to like this because you've got skates on, you've got a higher center of gravity. Don't know why I'm pointing here. Maybe it's here, maybe it's not. And you're more wobbly. So if you make the base of you smaller, you're going to be even more wobbly, right? So you're probably going to feel more comfortable with your feet like hip width apart. This is going to be like, yes, I can stand still like this. This feels fine. You might have your weight shifted onto one side or the other. But if you try and do your toe shuffles with your feet this wide, can you see how it looks different? It's much harder to control. I'm doing a lot more work in my quads and my weight is noticeably shifting from one side to the other. Okay, maybe you've tried really hard to learn this from a video and you're like, why am I going around? I don't want to move anywhere. I want to try and stay on the spot. That's what I see those people doing. Maybe you're even pulling because you're fully not certain exactly what is going on. I did think my battery would last longer than that, and it's having none of it. So okay, we're going to do more than one thing here. No. Okay, it's not about to instantly die. I've got my my power cord ready to plug in for the moment that we need to, but obviously I've got my microphone plugged into the same port. Don't we love technology, especially when it's not working? And my phone, for some reason, will not deliver sound. So, okay, so with our dribble, toe shuffle, if our feet are wide, it's way clunkier. So we need to have our feet as close as your body will allow, understanding that if you do have less experience, you are probably going to start with your feet a bit wider. And over time, you're going to try and bring your feet in just a little bit. And I will also say, don't take your toe stops out at the same time unless you feel you're kicking them and they're in the way. If you've got adjustable toe stops, you can screw them so that they're all the way in and there's no thread showing if you've got that type. If you've got the bolt-on type, which is like a little cone, you cannot. They're either on or they're off. We do sell the Sure Grip short bolt-on toe stops so that you can lift your heel a little bit higher. They're not expensive. And some people find them useful. Some people go straight to a toe plug. But bear in mind that there is nothing there. So if you're a person that rests on your toe stop a lot when you're standing still, you'll go to do it subconsciously and just go like that. So make sure that when you first take your toe stops out, be very conscious and go, I have no toe stops, I have no toe stops, I have no toe stops. Literally practice for 5 minutes on something very focused and then sit down. Okay, like take a break, take a load off your feet, let your body fully relax. It's something frustrating, possibly, but you'll actually get there faster. Like the long cut, it's not the long cut, it's the shortcut. The long way is the shortcut. It's hare and the tortoise, okay? And I will probably say this over and over and over, but that is how it is. Okay, you cannot trick your body into learning something. It's just not like that. So we start with our foot ever so slightly behind, heel raised. We're pushing forwards and then we put our heel down. And the action of dropping that front heel is going to tip the other heel up. Push forwards, down. So we're constantly going push, drop, and the lift happens at the same time. So you might even just practice this, boom, 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 so that you're having it's like a little rocking horse, but push, drop, and as I push, my body's going up. When I drop, my body is dropping. Push, drop. Do you see how I'm getting slightly closer to you? It's okay, because level 2, when we have not, I don't know what's going on with the arms though. I hope you're enjoying this. When we don't have a lot of experience with our roller dance, all my weight is on the foot that is on the floor. And there is no weight I could push through the air if I chose to. I'm not. I'm pushing it on the floor. So therefore, I'm going to creep forwards. The way to stay on the spot is to add some weight in the toes that you're pushing forward, like you're trying to dig into the floor. You will not dig into the floor. You have wheels on. What will happen instead is your other foot will switch back. Okay, so you are pushing that foot forwards, but you're adding weight and a dig with it. Okay, so if my foot starts behind and I dig, then drop, dig, then drop. I am still focusing on the push forwards. Focus on the push and not the pull. I've found that that is the easiest way of trying to understand this movement. And for such a small movement, it's so tricky. Like, so as I say, when I've seen people doing this wide, it just doesn't look as comfortable. It feels very clunky, but I do remember when you're trying to make your feet closer together, like my legs are touching now. So I know, we all know, do not look at your toes is the thing. But anytime I go anywhere, everyone's toe gazing. They're like this. When I do this, my shoulders are tipped more forward, and actually holding that balance is harder. My shoulders are back to being in front of my hips, and really I want to have my shoulders above my hips as much as possible. Obviously, we're always going to choose compassion. No, we're not. We are going to choose to beat ourselves up and just go, why can't I do that? Because in 10 minutes, I should be able to learn what has taken well over a decade of pretty consistent practice. That's how it should be. And it never, ever looks like that. And also, it does depend on other previous experiences. Okay, so we're going to take this slowly because it's a bit of a toe burner. Like you're going to have clenched toes. Your calves will probably be clenched. Your quads will all be quite tense. I think it's really important just to have a little shake out before and after. And again, I'm not doing this in public. I'm doing this feeling ridiculous, not at all, because I'm in a studio with nobody looking. So it feels completely different if I'm out somewhere where there are physical humans there looking with eyes, being confused about what on earth I'm doing, just shaking it out. Now, I will say that feeling of feeling like just a wobbly person and feeling a bit, I'm going to use this word lovingly, plonker, not often used enough English word. Actually, that feeling really started leaving me after I turned 45 and beyond. And I kind of went, this is nice. The sort of fear of judgment from other people started going away. And I was like, I don't really care anymore. This is quite nice. And I think that's probably around the time when I also really started. And so for those of you who don't know, I'm now 48. I'm 49 this year. It's not that long ago. I wish it was longer ago, but it's not that long ago. And it's around the time where I really started to be very focused on my own goals. I do post on social media a lot. I'm like, try and stay on top of what's going on. I literally can't. I've got too much to do. So all of that, whatever anybody else is doing, just as amazing. If anyone's out there doing roller skate things, building a community, helping to establish more spaces that people can skate safely, I think that has got to be celebrated and applauded, because look at our little tiny space. We can't be here reaching as many people as I would like to reach, but I'm really here to help the skaters over 40 be visible, empower themselves. And who cares if you've got a floppy arm or not? Do you know what I mean? Does it matter? Not really. Does it make you feel good to shake the cortisol out of your body? Yes. Okay, let me do that one then. Do I care about being sponsored? No, not really. So does it matter what I look like? And if I feel like I don't know, some like shaky air car wash person or not? Not really. So I'm much more focused on the feeling, less focused on how I look. Yeah, anyway. Remember that we're training, and when we're training, it's going to look how it's going to look. I'm always going to encourage you when you're training, especially if you're moving your arms, to make the movement as big as you possibly can, because we do know when we go to spaces with people with actual eyes, we do tend to shrink. We do still have that sort of ingrained fear of judgment. And if I take up this much space and make myself this visible, I may in some way attract danger. So your subconscious is always going to try and keep you safe and keep you, keep you hugging yourself. And as an introvert, proud introvert, founders of the Awkward Dance Club right here, we've got t-shirts which say it on the back. You just got to go out there and do your best. So understanding yourself, I think, is also really key. Let's go back to some toe shuffles. So I would batch these together. And again, when I put my music on, I might go do some slow ones, and then I'm going to go quick, 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 quick. So I'm just going to put a bit of music on now, and I'm actually going to unplug the microphone, which may be a mistake, but you'll hear the creaky, creaky floor. It's just to give the laptop a little bit of power.